On this day, New York City was about to witness how an ordinary school field trip to the Natural History Museum would turn into something extraordinary. No one could have predicted that bullying directed at a young girl with special needs would lead to events that would change many lives. And most importantly, no one expected Spider-Man himself to be exactly where he needed to be, teaching an important lesson not only to the bullies but to everyone in the museum. Friends, share in the comments if you've ever had a stranger stand up for you in a difficult situation. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because tomorrow at 12 o'clock, you'll see an incredible story about how a superhero appeared in the most unexpected place at just the right moment. The majestic halls of the Natural History Museum were filled with school groups, tourists, and families with children. Among them was Peter Parker in his Spider-Man suit, discreetly perched on one of the upper beams near the ceiling. He often liked to spend time here, watching people and remembering his own school field trips with Uncle Ben. Today, he came here not just out of nostalgia, his spider sense was telling him he might be needed. In the center of the Dinosaur Hall, a group of teenagers from Midtown High School had gathered. Among them was Emily Chen, a 13-year-old girl with Down syndrome, who had joined a regular class for this field trip for the first time. Her eyes sparkled with excitement as she looked at the giant T-Rex skeleton. Next to her stood Mrs. Thompson, the biology teacher who had always believed in inclusive education. Peter watched the scene unfold, his heart heavy with memories. He remembered being the target of Flash Thompson's taunts in school. With great power comes great responsibility, Uncle Ben's words echoed in his mind. He knew he had to act, but he also understood that simply intimidating the bullies wouldn't solve the problem, something more was needed. Jackson continued his mockery, "You know, I don't even understand why they let people like her into normal classes. It's just..." But he couldn't finish his sentence. Suddenly, Spider-Man landed next to the group, executing an elegant flip. "Hey everyone. Hope I'm not interrupting the natural science lesson," Spider-Man said cheerfully, casually leaning against the barrier. "You know, I was just swinging by and heard a really interesting discussion about dinosaurs. Emily, would you mind sharing more facts with us? I always get confused about theropod species." Emily's eyes lit up even brighter. "Really? You know my name?" She hesitated for a moment but then began enthusiastically. Theropods were carnivorous dinosaurs that walked on two legs. They had very sharp teeth and... Jackson snorted, but Spider-Man gently interrupted him. "You know what's most interesting about dinosaurs? They teach us an important lesson about evolution. Some of them were huge and strong, but they weren't the ones who survived. The survivors were those who could adapt and cooperate. Those who understood the value of diversity." Mrs. Thompson watched the scene with a smile. Spider-Man continued, "You know what? Let's do a little experiment. Each of you has your own strengths. Emily is great at paleontology. Jackson, you're probably good at sports. And someone else might excel in math or art. Imagine you're a team of researchers, and everyone brings something unique to the table." At that moment, a group of elementary school children entered the hall. Their teacher was trying to keep their attention on the exhibits, but the kids were too excited by the superhero's presence. Spider-Man immediately thought of how to use this situation. "Great idea. Let's have a mini-tour. Emily will be our dinosaur expert, and others can help with different aspects. Jackson, you could talk about how important physical fitness is for field researchers." Jackson hesitated at first but gradually got into it. He even started demonstrating which muscles are needed for excavation work, which delighted the younger students. Emily shone with knowledge, and other students added their observations. Spider-Man moved from group to group, encouraging everyone and adding jokes. "Did you know I have something in common with dinosaurs?" he asked cheerfully. "We can both climb walls. Though I do it a bit more gracefully." An hour later, the improvised tour came to an end. The younger students were thrilled, and the older ones looked thoughtful. Jackson approached Emily. Listen. I wanted to apologize. You're really cool. I had no idea dinosaurs could be so interesting. Maybe you could help me with my biology report. Spider-Man watched this scene from the ceiling beam. His spider sense no longer detected any danger in this hall. He knew it was time to leave, but first. Descending one last time, Spider-Man addressed everyone. You know, being a hero isn't just about superpowers or a cool costume. It's about seeing the best in others and helping them bring it out. Each of you can be a hero in your own way. And remember, in a world full of wonders, the most amazing wonder is the kindness of ordinary people. Just before leaving, he turned to Emily. Thanks for the lesson. Now I finally know the difference between velociraptors and Deinonychus. Later that evening, social media was flooded with photos and videos using the hashtag #SpidermanTeachesDinosaurs. But what happened in the following weeks was even more important. Emily became one of the most popular students in school. People often came to her for help with biology homework. Jackson and his friends started running extra training sessions for younger grades. And the Natural History Museum launched a new program where older students helped conduct tours for younger ones. Peter Parker, scrolling through news about this on his phone, smiled. With great power comes great responsibility, he repeated Uncle Ben's words to himself. But sometimes it's enough to just show people they're stronger than they think. Friends, today we saw how one incident at a museum changed many lives. But most importantly, we learned that anyone can be a hero. You don't need to be Spider-Man to stand up for someone weaker or help someone believe in themselves. Sometimes all it takes is showing kindness and seeing the good in others that they haven't yet discovered in themselves.